As I'm excited to introduce to you Andrey Zakharchenko today, a notable Russian entrepreneur, international trade, and the head of Trade East, the founder of Trade East, as well as the president of one of the organizations in economics. And he connected over 16,000 entrepreneurs worldwide.
I'm 34, so I'm not so young.
Here is the really fun fact that Andrew really believes that knowing Chinese isn't that crucial in China when working with Chinese suppliers or Chinese people, business people, when you're building business in China.
I really suggest to start with reading some books about Chinese culture. The people just lift up their t-shirts and show their belly, because if their belly is big, that means that person can eat a lot, that means he is rich. You will use your connections.
Exactly. That's what everyone is doing. That's what in China, let's say, it's like, a threshold to get into the business, or to start even like to start to do some even minor project in China. It's difficult because of reason number one. It took me to find an assistant 2.5 months. And I found assistant, actually totally random at the restaurant. But when I wanted to find a Chinese and English speaking assistant who is actually smart enough, and not only smart, but outgoing and proactive. This is actually the keyword, proactive, because many of Chinese, they're not proactive unless you write down everything, in detail, and they will follow the orders, But I actually need the approach of entrepreneur. You need like to be proactive. You need to think better, how to complete the task. So for me, I actually found that there is like not a single application where you can find a proper employee, even for short term. And they told me that actually we don't need one, because we have those big companies and they have HR departments. And that's how they find those guys. But I was like, guys, come on, okay, those big corporations, for sure they have anywhere in the world. But if you want to start your own business, and that's exactly what they told me, like other Chinese students. I was like, actually, because we don't like to be entrepreneurs. We want to be sure about our future. We like to be stable.
Part of the corporation.
We want to work for big corporation, for long term, for 20, 30 years, one position, and so on. So they really lack of this entrepreneurial mindset. This is why it's so easy to do business with China, because you always find one big supplier, or one big platform where you go, or one big conference, and just like the concentration of everything. So and that's why Alibaba became like so big instantly. As I mentioned before, Andrew is actually originally from Russia, and he's all about the Russia-China relationship, not really focusing on Kazakhstan or Belarus, So with everything that's been going on lately, the business landscape in Russia is definitely facing some challenges. Sanctions, absolutely, and no doubt, yes, things are getting pricier too. But how does that all affect business? And let's dive into that. Why China? Why not United States? Why not Korea? Why not, for instance, India? Also, because they also produce, a lot of different stuff. And you've been to United States already, so you live there. So why not to continue with the United States? Why you decided to go to the East?
Because we live in Russia,
No, but
and Russian entrepreneurs are used to trading with China, and the biggest trade volume, foreign trade is with China, and moreover it's more easier to trade with China. I mean, that's a great infrastructure. Alibaba and Canton Fair, and a lot of support that you can use trading with China. But at the same time, you need to know these cultural aspects to work with them, because this tricks with Baidu. It's not the one trick, of course, and we have the value there, how to work with them. But at the same time, it's really need for Russian suppliers to use this experience, from us, because we try to work with the European Union, about like we created a product of outsourcing of import for Europe, and we understood that nobody needed. Russian clients need maybe they need logistics, custom clearance solution, and etc. But they don't need to know how to work with German people or from Italy, because their way of business is pretty clear. But unfortunately for China, not. It's really need to how to say, adjust your customers' requirement and suppliers and what suppliers can do with it. So
yeah, the difference in culture and the difference in expectations is tremendous. Yeah. So I also figured it out once I traveled to China and, and witnessed all by myself.
Started really accidentally because we had a 13 and 14 sanction pack in December and in February, and it started with small problems with transfer. Then it increased like a really, I don't know, it was like a big jump from small problems to bigger problems. Like a lot of banks, like the biggest banks, just stopped their work with Russia, and you needed to use small banks. But then in 2 months, in June and in July especially, everything stopped to work with China. And right now you need to use agents who can work with China, and you need to transfer your money indirectly to Hong Kong, to Singapore, to Kyrgyzstan, and use really difficult financial logistics.
After living under sanctions and making business with China, was it like actually sanctions boosted your business, or you just adapted and it just, business as usual? How was it for you?
It boosted in 2022 because a lot of clients moved from Europe to China, but not so much. And more company became our competitors. Because they worked with Europe before, and they couldn't work with Europe, so they decided to start working with China.
So how competitive market is it right now?
It was really competitive last year, but this year it's becoming lesser and lesser competitive because of the money reason and because of the salary reason, of course. The salary in Russia is growing so fast, growing not because of our economy is growing, but because of lack of the people. And
like the market has its own limits for Russia.
Yeah, that's it.
Here is my take, guys. China has what I like to call a business face and a government face. And please don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that China is being duplicitous. It's just that politics and business, they definitely should stay in their own lanes, right? So everyone do the thing that he is professional and capable to do. So for instance, we were shooting a video for a company once, and the security was ready to kick our asses until they found out we weren't from US, but from Europe. And suddenly they were all smiles, wishing us well and offering us help. This actually makes you wonder, why is it happening, and why people actually are so worried, and people are actually mismatching it, right, and misappropriating the politics and applying it to everyday situations. So I totally disagree with that, of course. You know, while staying in Guangzhou and traveling to other cities, actually I figure out that, as you said, there are like two phases. One phase is like business phase. One phase is government phase, official. So I would say that official phase is turned more positive side towards Russia at the moment. But business side is turned more like pro-European. So they want to do business with Europe and more smooth business with Europe, but they're afraid about hearing word Russia, like with business. So in your experience, did you actually notice anything like that?
I think that people in China, they like Russians at all, and but they don't have a hate to Americans and to Europeans. I think if we are talking about police and security, something like that, yeah, they're scared of being to losing their face in front of Americans, because they can create something bad. And because that's this, political phase, and Americans maybe can create like a video show that shows that China is not the paradise. So they're scared of it, and that's a bigger opportunity to make this video if you are from the United States that you are from Russia. But in business, that's a different story, because they understand that if we are talking about like a common business, Americans are richer than Russia, and American businessmen, they are ready to pay more than Russians. So if we are talking about these things about sanctions and about bank money transfer, it doesn't matter if they like you or not. They are ready to work with Russia, but they are pragmatic, and they don't want to be under the United States sanction. And I think that this problem started after May sanction against Chinese companies, because there were 3 companies in China who were under sanction in February, but this was only first shot. Second shot was in May, when I guess 63 Chinese companies got sanctioned against them. So, and Chinese understood that if we would work with Russia, we would probably be under sanction. And the USA and the EU is not joking with them. So they're afraid of being under the sanction. That's the reason, and that's why they don't want to get money from us
Directly.
Yeah, directly. That's a pragmatic approach.
For sure. And actually nowadays you cannot find anything about Jack Ma, because he's not even in China.
Yeah.
He's sort of the richest person in China, the king of fintech, the king of e-commerce.
Yeah.
Nowadays he's not in China, and he cannot come there to relocate back. So now he's in Japan and United States. So it says actually a lot. So you cannot mix politics and business. If you do business, but at the same time you need to be modest about doing business. So, and that's why people also look at this example, and at the same time they look at this example with bloggers who were like showing off, the luxury lifestyle, and that's why people nowadays, they are sort of afraid, or they're afraid even to look towards this way. That's why they say like, I want to have like a modest lifestyle, but it doesn't match, with current narrative. How do we stay informed? Well, let's be honest. Official Chinese sources are not the way to go. Too much propaganda mixed with other stuff, personal agendas, and they're often biased. So what is my advice?
Look for the independent sources of information, ideally from different countries. So if they all align, then you might be onto something resembling the truth, right? So you should train your critical thinking, right? So still be cautious, right? Still be alert. Not everything you read should be taken at face value.
Do you actually follow news or like social media, or do you watch official news about China? What is happening? Because you know, like when you walk into investment bank, you see big screens. There's like Financial Times, CNBC, CNN,
Yeah.
Fox News. You see like the Fortune
Yeah, I see what you
companies like Standard and Poor 500. So what about China? What would you suggest for us and for viewers to take a look at China?
I suggest don't watch the official news, of course, because it's Chinese propaganda. But you don't need to use sources from China, because the news are really biased, yeah, are really biased, because they want to be to show their country as the best place in the world.
The paradise.
Yeah, kind of this. You have a practical problems. The biggest problem right now is to transfer money from Russia to China.
I mean, from any place to China.
No, from Russia to China.
Only from Russia to China.
Of course, yeah, because of the sanction, it's really difficult to send money there. But there is no official news.
Let's not forget that one of my favorite interview questions is, what is the Chinese dream? What is the Chinese dream, right? Are the Chinese aiming for a lifestyle similar to that of Europe, or achieving wealth and showcasing it at older age? It's actually a very interesting question.
While you're working with China and with Chinese suppliers, with businessmen from China, entrepreneurs from China, did you actually notice, do they have some sort of a Chinese dream, or like compared to American dream? Have you ever thought about it?
That's a difficult question. I think because Chinese dreams, they have two faces comparing to America. American people don't need to hide anything. But for China, of course, they like a dream. Their first phase is we want to be part of a successful country. We want to be part of our society. We feel like we are collective. We are not individual. We are here, and they dream is to be a really, really part of the society, and to belong to some kind of successful society. That's like the general Chinese dream, I think. But at the same time, they becoming more individual, and maybe they are becoming more individual than Americans right now, if we are talking about middle class. And Chinese government, by the way, they try to struggle with it, because it's not follow the Chinese way of life. And I don't know, have you ever heard, but there are a lot of Chinese bloggers who show they like a luxury life.
Right.
They're in prison right now, and they just disappeared. It was a few months ago, and they disappeared the same day. And that was not happened by accidental. And yeah, Chinese really want to live like a life of Europeans, and they follow the way of Russian businessmen in zeros. Because they feel that they can reach a lot, and they want to show their richness, and they want to be a part of global society, and and they are not so modest as European
Exactly, yeah.
Americans.
Finally, a few quick questions.
First, never rely on your agreement or any formal things, because you cannot do anything with your international agreement. you will not go to the international court if Chinese do something wrong. Second, you need to spend some time for making connections. Don't go straightly to your business. But the same time, and that's my third lesson, remember about Chinese pragmatism. You know, sometimes people think that Chinese, like, they're maybe too naive, or they're asking you a lot of useless questions. But these questions, it's not like questions without reason. That's a particular reason to understand who you are. And if you are breaking all the rules, if you are talking about politics, if you will not respect, I don't know, the boss of factory, or if you tell something stupid about Chinese government, they will forgive you in case of your value for them. I mean, if you are a good customer, if they understand that you can bring them a lot of money, they will forgive you for everything. So that's very important, and just push on this side of your business aspects instead of pushing on some formal agreements.
Once you work with China, we talked about strange things. We talked about cultural shock. But what is cool about China? What's cool about working with Chinese managers, with Chinese entrepreneurs?
They are really flexible. That's a really very convenient to work with them. They are ready to customize your goods. For example, there are a lot of clients who sell something in marketplace, and they told us like, we're gonna sell pajamas, but tell us please, is it possible to make a label on the nail on tape there? Is it expensive or not? Or we will be really appreciate if you make a, I don't know, PP bag with our logo. And I told them like, it costs nothing compared with the price of your party. This nail on tape, it's like obvious. And it's something that you need to put on this, and they will make it just just because they do it. This will cost you nothing for any PP bag, for any, I don't know, logo, for any changes. It will be really easier for you. My friend supplied pajamas, kigurumi pajamas. Do you know this? It was really easy to arrange with the Chinese. He sent them just a drawers, and they created it, so it was easy. But of course there was a problems with quality, so he needed to control it and control everything, like about sewing, about painting, like these things. But they can be flexible. When they started to produce it in Russia, after then, it was much more difficult, because he came to a factory in Ivanova and like, what, kigurumi pajamas with tail? What are you talking about? Are you stupid? It's not stupid. No, we will not work with it. And he refused, I don't know, so many times. And at the same time, the volume was quite big. He ordered like one container of pajamas like every 2 months. So that's a lot. But Russia.
So in China, you can order anything; it will be done.
Yeah, you can order, but of course you should remember that you need to create it by yourself and control every step. There is nothing obvious in China for Chinese. You need to be Captain Obvious.
You need to make sure that this will be exactly this color.
Yeah.
Exactly this material.
Exactly
this way on the left side. This amount of, distance from the top from the left.
Yeah. Tail of your pajama should be 1 meter, not 5 centimeters.
They are flexible. Anything else?
They're flexible. They can it's really easy to how to say, but it's a really huge market. So, and sometimes you can find something that's not exist in Russia. And I suggest to visit Canton Fair or specific fair of your field of business. Maybe you will find something you don't have in Russia, because they will be first in inventions. You know.
My dear followers, my dear viewers, and I think that's a wrap up. I hope you enjoyed our interview with Andrew as much as I did. And from tales of unexpected challenges in China to inadvertently stumbling into culture shock, it's clear that every adventure comes with its own set of surprises and secret sauces. There is really no one key to success, but otherwise it would be very easy, right, for everyone, and simple recipe. But if you found the value in today's video, don't be shy, guys. Give it a try. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more fun insights about living and working in China. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Leave your keyboard on fire. I want to know. And what's your take on the whole China business thing? It's very interesting to hear your feedback as well. Let's interact. Are you ready to go through so many challenges as been discussed here and in previous episodes to build your own business? Well, that's what I know for sure. If we are together, it makes our path much easier. And let's keep in touch, guys. Thank you very much for hanging out with me today at Very Venture China. And keep dreaming big and exploring new opportunities together. I will catch you in the next episodes. Until then, stay curious, my friends. Pa pao. Bye-bye. See you soon.
Thank you very much, Andrew. It was nice to have you here today. Thank you.
Yeah, me too.
The choice is yours, guys, to make a product that generates money and brings value to society, or you do investment materials. You have to prepare all those pitch decks, presentations, one-pager, financial documents, P&L.
And then I looked into, I used to call this value creation, I looked into a lot of different areas where something like this had been.
Without money, without sales, there is no business. You can forget about it. You're doing some scientific research, R&D.